Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the EEARSS Podcast, produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. I am Frank. That is Bill. We're wishing Cindy and Justin an awesome trip down to check on her daughter.
Yes, we are. Yep, she is on her way, or may already be at FAU.
Yep, and we were promised she would send us pictures of the ground-burrowing owls.
Yes, that's what she said.
If they don't claw her eyes out first.
Right. Well, yeah, that is always the problem with that. With
I can imagine Cindy with her arms open trying to hug them as they're coming toward her face.
Oh, okay.
And like, oh, look, it's an owl. And then
I don't think that's what owls do.
Then her nose is no longer on her face.
Okay.
I don't wish that on her.
See, I think you worked with crocodilians too long. You keep thinking everything's going to bite your face off.
My face is still here.
It is.
I think if crocodilians were face biters, my face might have been missing a while ago.
Might be.
Yeah.
But now Uncle Bill's missing a couple fingers.
Is he?
Isn't he?
No.
I thought he was.
Negative.
Okay. Maybe.
All of his phalanges are still there.
Oh, he has them all? Okay. Oh, it's
you
the
like
snake
that?
guy. Yeah,
phalanges. That was
good.
pretty solid, wasn't it?
That was pretty good.
You're impressed.
You pulled out the vocab.
That was my $5 word of the day.
I like it.
Our guest will probably drop a lot more of those.
Could be.
Just to mess with my mind.
Well, I think she's educated, so, she could
is.
probably do that.
Yeah, very educated. Brain's like 15-pound brain.
Oh, there you go.
Not even a 10 or 12-pound brain, 15-pound brain.
There you go. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you ready to jump into this?
Yeah, I got nothing else to say, so let's go.
Okay, so today on the podcast, we are blessed to be joined by Miriam
Boucher.
I was somehow gonna. I'm thinking about what she said.
He thinks too much.
And then I'm like, I'm gonna butcher it somehow. So Miriam, thank you for being here. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing great. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Just the same way I told Helen a week ago when we talked to her, I'm going to tell you the exact same thing. I have watched you from a distance for a long time and admired your work ethic. When somebody's taken on one role, I look over at you and it seems like you're doing 6 or 7 things. You hear these people doing these projects, and somehow instead of doing one giant project, it seems like you're doing a dozen giant projects, and you're still just kicking absolute butt while doing it. And it's I admire it a lot, and I know I'm not the only person to be able to say that. So I think you're a daggum rock star, and I'm super excited to chat with you about all this stuff.
Thanks a lot. I think you can't give me too much credit because one of my biggest weaknesses is saying no, which is why I end up with so many spinning plates.
So
but
now,
I'm a sucker for punishment. I love it.
What animal are you working with right now?
Right now I'm working with American alligators. So I'm based in South Carolina, but I've been working with gators in 9 different states.
9? What's the furthest north?
Furthest north is North Carolina,
Okay.
close to the Croatan game lands, and then inland Arkansas, and then west Corpus Christi, Texas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's everywhere.
So you're traveling.
Miriam's everywhere.
Put a lot of miles on the car?
Yeah, my carbon footprint is not good.
So Miriam, walk us a little bit through where you're at, where you're working, and kind of how you got into this.
All right, well, I guess we better start at the beginning. I'm not from the U.S. I'm from Canada, so growing up, the closest thing I had to crocodilians was like the dry skin you'd get in the winter on your hands and feet. But I just fell in love with wildlife when I was really little. My intro was actually bass fishing shows on the Outdoor Network. As soon as I was old enough to wield a TV remote, I was like,
a little Bill Dance,
wow.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, wildlife is cool. And I was like, fish are awesome. And then I started looking at more stuff and came across, wildlife documentaries and, kind of like what Helen said last week too. Watching Steve Irwin and seeing what was out there kind of contextualized for me that there's a possibility to be a wildlife professional. And I kind of consumed all that I could with that. I became like an annual pass holder for my local zoo, in which I think I was a permanent fixture of the reptile house, and then campaigned hard to own a snake, which I did get to have one when I was a kid, but after 6 months and an entire literature review, I was able to get my first snake, and it's kind of like got me started into the herp world. But my first and only true love is crocodilians. When I was in first grade, my career project was like two options: crocodile biologist or hognose snake biologist. So, I went with my top choice. When I was coming out of my undergrad, I was really motivated to get out and get some real world experience, which led me to living in Brazil for 6 months. I helped manage a research center for an NGO in the Atlantic rainforest. And then I went to Belize for the first time to work with crocodiles and got my start there, and met Dr. Marissa Tellez, and she kind of gave me a foothold to really get going in this field.
So
and from there,
do you speak any Portuguese?
I did when I was there, because I lived. Okay. Yeah, I lived in the countryside, and my only contact with people was hitchhiking the 12 kilometers into town, and then I'd play futsal every Wednesday in town with a women's team. And so I had to learn to speak Portuguese to be able to navigate and talk to the people around me. So I'd study a little bit on my own every evening when I was at the research center.
What is futsal?
It's indoor soccer on a hard ground with a ball that is smaller and heavier than a regular soccer ball. So it doesn't get up in the air as much.
That sounds
it's
like
fast and it's heavy.
Yeah, it sounds like Bruising Central.
Yes.
That sounds like a pretty serious game.
Like I said, I'm a sucker for punishment.
Okay, keep on going. Sorry. You said Belize. Okay, you got to Belize.
I got to Belize, and then I ended up doing my master's down in Belize studying American crocodile behavior and acoustics, and it's just kind of snowballed from there. I took a few years off. I worked in Belize full time with the Crocodile Research Coalition, helping build their programs, and then transitioned to an environmental consulting role in Canada, where I got to work with rattlesnakes and ground nesting birds and sensitive species, and now I'm doing my PhD at Clemson studying alligators.
And you're with Thomas Rainwater, yes?
I am. He's on my committee, and he's kind of like my unofficial co-advisor.
Yeah, he's a pretty awesome fella.
He is awesome.
We're big Thomas Rainwater fans.
Yes, absolutely.
We had him on a few weeks ago also. I don't know if you heard about that episode, but that was pretty awesome as well.
I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm not surprised. He's a living legend and one of the nicest people I know, for sure.
Oh yeah. When I can kidnap him for an adventure, I always do. Which I was
right?
I was blessed to do that a few months ago, but that's a whole different story. So walk us through a little bit about the research you're doing currently. I know you have a bunch of things on your plate, and like I said, you said earlier you were spinning plates. You have a bunch of things in those plates, and you're making it happen. So tell us a little bit about what you're working on and what you're doing.
I'm trying. I guess I'm the official alligator vomit queen, because a big portion of my project revolves around what's inside an alligator's stomach. And so the foundation of my project is looking at alligator exposure to contaminants of emerging concern. And so those for me are ingested microplastics, so small plastics they're picking up from the environment and coming in contact with through their diet, so what's in their stomach, and then forever chemicals, PFAS, which accumulate in body tissues. And so we're looking at blood levels of PFAS in alligators. And so what I do is I work with states. I work with state agencies, federal agencies, private landowners, hunters, trappers, processors, and through any means necessary, I try to get my hands on alligator stomach contents and blood samples. And so in some states, I'm able to do that through hunter harvest by collecting the entire alligator stomach and taking it back to the lab. And then in states where I don't have the option, like North Carolina, and some of the other states where we have long-term programs that are happening, I can capture alligators and stomach flush them and make them vomit, essentially. And so with that, I'm exploring.
You must be very popular among the alligators. I imagine that's something that they don't like. Or are they indifferent to it?
They don't like it. They're very happy to get off the spine board and get back in the water when we're done with them. And I'd say on a lab level, people like me, but they don't like to smell my work.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would admit. Now, do you ever find that, I don't know if you do this often enough, do you ever find that the alligators that you've caught, that they avoid you?
They definitely do. We don't often recapture the same alligator, but at some sites where we have pretty significant mark recapture work, for example, there's one site in North Carolina called Lake Waccamaw, and I've actually resampled multiple alligators there just because the habitat is kind of constrained, and so it's easier for us to get a hold of them again.
Oh, okay.
I've caught quite a few gators in Waccamaw. Yeah, it's a heck of a place.
It is a really cool place.
All right, so you're doing stomach contents, you're looking at plastics, you're looking at forever chemicals. What other things are you working on? I know that's a lot as it is, but I believe you got one other major project you're working on too, correct?
I have a couple. So we've got some side projects that I've been working on. So one is we collaborated with a student, Lauren Lim, at the University of Sydney in Australia. Met her last year in Australia at the Crocodile Specialist Group meeting, and her focus is virology. So she wants to look at the virome, so meaning like defining the types of viruses and how many exist in alligators. And so over the past couple of years, I collected a couple hundred samples from, I think, like 115 different alligators. And so I sent those off to her, so she's analyzing those. And then we started sending leeches from alligators off to a collaborator in California because she wanted to look at the gut microbiome of leeches. And through that, we found that we may potentially have a new species of leech that is previously undescribed in the Carolinas and the, I guess, northern part of Georgia, which has been kind of neat. And with the leeches as well, we started a little side project with our collaborators at the Bowdoin Lab down at University of Florida, where we collected leeches and we collected alligator blood, and we're comparing the profile of PFAS, or those forever chemicals, between leeches and alligators to see how they're related and whether you could use leeches as a biological proxy for something invasive like blood sampling of alligators. And then I guess the last one is this spring, one of my lab mates, he does drone work with different animals. And so we did a fun little like drone project using a few different techniques to really increase the accuracy of sizing alligators from aerial images, which could potentially help managers and different people do aerial surveys to count and also get more accurate size classes of alligator populations in certain areas. So, you know, like I said, sucker for punishment, I can't say no, and I love a side project.
Wow, that's a lot of things going on at one time. I knew you had a lot of stuff going on, but holy moly, that's a lot of things going on at once. As the drone study pertains, how in the world are you? So I guess you have a set distance, a set height you go to, and then you have a way to somehow measure that from that set height?
We do. So we have set heights that we take the pictures from, but what we actually did is we actually physically caught the alligators too, so we were able to ground truth our measurements to be able to account for how accurate those images are. And then we also put a temporary marking on the alligators, so we were able to come back and fly again on different days and try to recapture those animals back in the habitat and reconfirm our measurements.
Okay, some cattle paint or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, wow, that's pretty cool. That's a good idea. I like it. That's pretty neat. All right, so we have a lot of people of every kind of age and background you can think of listeners to this program. A lot of kids, too, since we do this at a high school. If you could go back right now and talk to young you and kind of give you some advice about how to manage your career and how to go with it, knowing where you're going now, what would you say to young you?
Oh man, I think what I'd say is It is a tough one. I'd say that, like, look in your own backyard. I think we really underutilize the people that are closest to us because we often get exposed to or find people that are experts, but that are often miles away. One of the most awesome parts about this project has been getting to work with the state biologist. And all of the biologists that I've worked with in every state have been just top notch. And, you know, if you're younger, if you're in high school, if you're younger and you're looking to kind of figure out what your passion is or things like that, like talking to your local DNR people about opportunities to volunteer or to just learn from them could be a really good way to kind of get your toes, dip your toes in the water in the and maybe actually get to dip your toes in the water too, because they often do have field opportunities that can come up depending on what species they're working with or things like that. So I think that could be a good way to do it. And the other thing is to like find a mentor, find somebody who understands and remembers what it's like to start from the bottom, and find somebody who will give you the time and give you a little bit of an opportunity to get out and show you their world. That's kind of what happened to me, and that was one of the biggest contributions to my career, I think, for sure.
That's awesome. It's great advice. Now, I'm going to ask you a similar question, but from a different perspective. If you could say the same thing to a young woman who's working her way up, maybe challenges they might face and specific things to maybe get them over the edge. You know, that maybe imagine you're giving a young lady a pep talk. Going into the science world, what might you say?
I think I'm going to take maybe like I don't know if it's a slightly different approach, but I think that the way that women are perceived in the field is still a thing of evolution.
It is.
And we're still, evolving in that sense. But one of the things that I will say is that it's good to have boundaries. It is good to be resistant to things. But one of the things that I've learned too is that if you want people to be on your side, or you want people to learn how to respect you and respect others, there's a bit of a game to play, and there is some strategy in working with people who have very different opinions or viewpoints from you, and finding a way to maintain a working relationship, and maybe not immediately, but show them your quality and your caliber, and be very clear about who you are and what you can do, and get them on your side. Because I think that we will, as women and as you're coming up, like, there will be, not everybody, but there will be some people that will be difficult to work with, that'll say things or that will treat you sometimes like you aren't necessarily capable. And you can certainly put people like that in their place or push back against them, but it's also valuable to figure out a way to earn their respect and make them come to the table and adjust themselves. And instead of sometimes pushing those people away immediately just because of how they act. And so that being said, I always have to say to you that, like, your safety mentally and physically is number one and most important. But I found it to be an interesting exercise for me too, to talk to people and try to meet them where they're at, and just show them through my actions too that, like, I don't have to defend myself to you, but you better watch me. I'm going to show you just what I can do. And once I earn their respect, then I can push back on them a little bit more to maybe challenge some of their viewpoints and challenge the way that they do things.
No, that's great advice. I don't think many people look at things that way anymore, which is kind of sad. That's exactly how your people's work ethic should speak enough for them and speak volumes for who they are and what's going on and the way they handle themselves. That's utter genius is what that is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, and all of that to say too, if somebody doesn't see your worth, then they can take a walk, and you're welcome to find something else too. Don't stay in a situation where people aren't going to, come to the table for you either, because I don't have any patience for that too.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with telling somebody to pound sand.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. So, big things coming up. What you have so many things on your plate right now. Do you have any giant things on the horizon? Any big trips coming up? I heard you were taking a trip across the pond here coming up next year?
Yeah, so we're doing a couple of my friends and colleagues here at Clemson, Bobby Greco and Hallie Cohen. They both do crocodilian projects too. We're hosting a Low Country Croctoberfest this weekend in South Carolina to raise some awareness and just raise some funds for their research projects and mine. And then after that, the next big thing is we're going to try to head to Morocco next year for the Crocodile Specialist Group meeting. So I'm hopeful that we can get funding coverage to go and be able to present our work there. And I'm trying to hustle hard to bring one of my undergraduate students from my SPEW crew out to join us as well.
That's very cool. I know a couple of my interns might be coming over there as well. I think I'm gonna hold off to the next year to Brazil. It's been somewhere I've kind of wanted to hit for a long time, so I think I'm gonna wait for the Brazil trip. But Morocco does sound like quite a bit of fun.
I know. I think it'll be a really good time.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I hold you in super high regard. I think you're a daggum rock star. I'm super proud of all the things you're doing and accomplishing, and just, man, you're a killer, Miriam, and it's awesome to watch.
I just do what I can, and I just try to pull my weight, and I don't know. We have a lot of fun too. It's hard work, but we also have a really good time.
Yeah, that's something I'm gonna hit on real quick. Tell me about field work. So I've noticed through field work, there's different types of leaders, right? So typically when I'm leading the field work, you gotta have that person who is keeping the straight edge, but still keeps it fun for everybody. So it's not quite like work. You know what I mean? You're kind of enjoying yourself. Tell me about your field crew and how that goes when you guys are out there.
Oh man, it's changed a lot. When I first started, I get to work with Thomas quite a bit, and so that was really fun to work with him as a team, and we can both kind of step in and step out of roles. But now I train a lot of people who've never done stuff before, and I work with a lot of people who are early career professionals. And I can say that when we start, I like to do safety chats, come up with our plan for how we're going to execute things, and then I play to people's strengths. So if there's some people who are eager to learn and know how to use a fishing rod, then there's no reason why they can't be on the fishing poles trying to hook the gators. And then I will teach people and we'll do demos with how to noose, because everybody can do that. And so I lead things and I talk people through things, but my goal too is that I think that there can be a lot of gatekeeping with crocodilian work because it's exciting, but in reality, it's not rocket science. Anybody can do it, and it should be something that everybody should feel capable and able to contribute to. And so a lot of my time now, I feel like I'm not really doing a whole lot. Like, I'm talking people through things and I'm showing them how to do it, and then they're the ones that are doing it now. And I have a couple people that I work with on a regular basis. Two of them are master's students here at Clemson. One actually does duck stuff, but I poached him for 6 months to help me out, and he's awesome. His name's Arwa. And then another master's student, Dorothy, I trained them, and after 3 months, man, they can do it all. They can catch gators, they can draw blood, they can restrain them, and they can train people. And then my intern over this summer, Anna too, she has been stepping up and now leading groups on how to do things. And so it is collaborative, and I think now my role is kind of to sit back and step in when I need to, but enjoy watching people take the lead and develop themselves too.
Yeah, it's pretty special to have a group that you can get to that point where they can just go get it done. That's there's a lot to be proud of there. Very, very awesome. Miriam, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and chat with us and tell us about what you're up to. This has been pretty special, and really, really appreciate your time, because I know, again, with all these things going on, I know your time is very precious. So thank you so much for joining us and chatting with us.
Absolutely. I'm always happy to do it. And, if you're ever in South Carolina, come join me. I'll take you out and put you to work.
Yeah, for sure. I might sneak up there and see you and Thomas and hang out with you for a little bit. But I appreciate you so very much. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we'll catch up with you soon, okay?
Okay, that sounds great, Frank.
All right, we'll see you. Man, A lot of things going on at one time.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, you hear about
9 different states.
Yeah, you hear about people that come in that are, working on projects, doing things, whatever background they have. But to have
Right.
that many things going on at one time, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Miriam's a killer in the best way. I say that with the utmost regard. I mean, just
Mhm.
getting it done.
Yeah, it seems amazing. It seems absolutely amazing.
Yeah, but nonstop. What do you got going on this week? Anything good?
No, well, we have Monday the students have off.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I had
yeah.
no idea that was even a thing.
Although it was pretty funny because this morning they got on the intercom and they said to the Eastern Florida students, the college students, that you don't have Monday off.
Yeah.
You still have to go to your college class. And the high school kids, you guys are off. So, yeah, the college kids were like, oh, man. But they'll be done the first week of December. So,
yeah. What are they worried about?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a payoff there.
You gotta stop bellyaking about that and go
Exactly.
to class. Stop bellyaching and go to
Stop
class.
bellyaching and go to class.
You can't sleep all day whenever high school's over.
Yeah, that's true. I wish somebody would tell these kids that they can't sleep all the time.
Oh, Lord, I've got jokes. Bill,
Yes, sir.
let's end this thing.
Let's do it.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the EEARSS podcast produced here at Terrier TV. If you'd like to learn more about EEARSS and the projects we're doing and things we're working on, you can go over to EEARSS.org or EEARSS.com or AlligatorRobb.com. Rob has 2 B's. EEARSS is very happy to have you tuning in, and thank you guys for listening to us. And we will catch you all next week. Bye-bye.